Welcome to the Thriving Creators Podcast. This is your host, Meredith Marsh. I'm here to help you look good, sound good, and feel good on camera so you can build your thriving YouTube channel. But what about video podcasts? Now that YouTube has podcasts, what does that even mean? I brought in my good friend Desiree Martinez from the Women of Video podcast. We're going to sort out the future of podcasting with video and YouTube and what it all means. Desiree, welcome. How are you?
Hey, I'm so excited to be here and spend time with you and your peeps because we're going to have fun talking about this.
I sure hope so. I have so many thoughts and / questions. We'll see what we can get into here. So just let's give a quick introduction of who the heck is Desiree Martinez and how did you get here?
So Desiree Martinez is a lot of things. Some are good, some are bad. But in the context of us today, I am a YouTuber, a podcaster, an author, and a Slytherin. And I help you use video and social media to get leads and grow your business and turn them into dollars. And my qualifications, I think, as to why Meredith is having me here to talk about this video podcasting is because I have a video podcast I do that's called Women of Video. It's been a video podcast since like episode 1, which was back in like October 2019. And there's been so many evolutions, obviously, with video and podcasting over the past almost 4 years. And so there's just a lot of different things to talk about, whether we go into like the details of analytics, reach, money, recording tools. Like there's lots of things within this to make this valuable for you.
Awesome. I am so glad that you're here. So let's start with, did you say the Women of Video podcast has been around since 2019?
It has. I started the Women of Video. It was actually called the Women of YouTube.
Oh,
I rebranded to the Women of Video in 2022 because 2 reasons. One, it's a bad idea to build a name of your podcast about something that's like super proprietary, like YouTube. I believe you know that from your GoPro mom days.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And then the other one is when I started the podcast, like YouTube was the only like real player when we talked about video. There was definitely a lot like people were doing like live streaming and stuff, but it was one of those things that it wasn't big. And then when the pandemic happened and TikTok just like exploded and then all the other platforms embraced vertical video and we entered this world of like 3 different types of video content. And since Women of Video focuses on helping to tell the stories of women so that other women can learn how to create and build businesses, I was like, well, we need to expand like how we're doing this and who we're reaching, because there are lots of women creators that are out there making successful businesses and branding themselves as live streamers or as vertical video creators, not just being YouTubers. So, so we've been around for women for a hot minute.
For some reason, 2019 feels like a really long time ago. Like when you said 2019, I was like, wow, did I even know you back then? And then I realized like the last 3 years has just felt like so long and so fast all at the same time. It's like, it's unreal. So now that you say it, I'm like, oh yeah, 2019. Yeah, I knew Desiree before the pandemic, right? Like it's not that long ago, but it feels like an eternity. So, so you started in 2019 and it originally, you started it as like you record video and audio, right? What's your publishing workflow for that?
So my publishing workflow is, okay, so for context, Meredith, you were the 8th guest on my podcast.
Wow.
So November 26th, 2019. So yes, you knew me in 2019. You knew me much longer than that, I'm pretty sure. I don't know how on God's green earth we met.
I don't know. We've never met in person.
We haven't. Isn't that the weirdest thing, that our entire business is online and like so few of us actually know each other in person?
I know, it's crazy.
I'm shorter and bigger in real life than people are. Anyway, so my workflow. Okay, so my workflow for my podcast currently is it starts. I've already established like what the purpose of this podcast is, like, so I don't have to like work on like defining that or anything like that. So a lot of my workflow before recording is just finding guests. I've been working really hard lately, and some days I fail and some days I'm like crush it, where I'm spending time every day doing specific outreach touch points to people. Because one of the things I love about, and I dive into like who I am as a business owner, I love people and I love networking. I love talking to people. I'm not one of those people that's like, I hate people because I like people and then people ruined it for me. I'm like, no, I'm not that person. I love the people. I love the extroverting, which I know is the exact opposite of who you are. But I've been doing really strategic outreach points, and one of my outreach points is finding guests to be on my podcast. And so I spend time on LinkedIn and Instagram and TikTok, and like I'll email myself people I come across that are doing cool things or unique stuff or whatever. Then I reach out to them, whether it's through the platform that I found them on, but oftentimes it's actually through LinkedIn messaging or through their website, because a lot of them have contact forms on their website, so it makes it easier to reach them. Some of them have managers. Those are harder to get through to. But if they don't have a way for me to contact them outside of like Instagram and stuff, it's usually harder. So anyway, I spent time outreaching people, and it's basically like, hey, I love what you're doing. Here's what I love about what you're doing. So I try to make it personalized. Every message is always personalized. And then I follow up with like, I record this podcast. This is what it's about. This is what it does. And I'd love to have you as a guest. Here's the link to schedule the time to be on my podcast. And I look forward to talking with you. And like, that's kind of where I end it. And so the link is to a Calendly link, and I have set aside Fridays as my day that I do podcast recording. For me, Fridays make sense because that's when I'm at my like deadest. And I know about be like, why are you doing something so creative and interactive if you're dead? It's because I can talk and get pumped up and engage with people. Like, we're recording this on a Friday. I can do this on a Friday because it's easy for me, because it's not problem solving that I've been doing all week. And so that's what me. So my calendar is open from like 11 to 4 on Fridays to schedule podcasts. So like today I have a podcast I'm going to be on, and then a podcast that she's going to be on. We're doing like a little tradesy. Then I have another one I'm doing later. And the following week I have more. And then the following week I have a lot more. And then I'm off for a few weeks because I'm going on a vacation. So it just allows me to batch and get my stuff ahead. And I know like I can stay in this zone and do the things here. And I also try to do other things for Women in Video during that Friday time, whether it's recording introductions for podcasts, sending notes to my editor, working on things I want to do or add in, like how can I upgrade or make things better, doing outreach, all that kind of stuff. And so then I record. Now I use StreamYard to record my podcast. I have used StreamYard since the beginning because I just really like the tool. I find that it works really well. It has really good quality. It has evolved from being just like this live streaming tool into being this really browser-based production studio. And I just really like how it functions, and I've used it for everything from podcasting to live streaming to producing content for other people, doing live events, all of the batch recording content, like everything. So that's what I utilize for my stuff. And what I like about it is I have different backgrounds that I've done in place for women videos, so I can put my people, myself and the person that I'm interviewing, side by side in the frame. And then we also can locally record their individual files. So like, let's say I'm having a loud day or something happens or my connection isn't great, which or for them on the other side, like if I'm having my moment of the conversation and then like their situation gets loud or weird, like it doesn't interfere with the sound situation. And that happens. So I record the pods, I download them, I put them up on my Google Drive server. I send them over to my editor, and she's worked with me for, God, like 4 or 5 years. Like we've been working together for a long time. And she just does the editing, inserts things. I usually will talk notes to her in the podcast if something's going on or we need to add something or ask for something. She does that. She does our show notes, which are with our timestamps. And then she sends the clips that need to get made to our social media content creator. And then we create the thumbnail, and then it just gets put into the pipeline to schedule, and we publish every Wednesday.
Wow. That's a lot of stuff. That's a lot of steps.
It's not as many steps as my YouTube videos. Like my podcast is so much easier to do than my YouTube videos.
Mm-hmm. Does it feel like with a podcast recording that, like, do you feel like, oh, all I have to do is show up and like talk to this person? So it's.
Yes, 100% is exactly what I do. I will be really honest with a lot of you. I don't listen to my podcasts again after they go up. unless I'm doing something specific, trying to find something, turning it into clips. Because for me, it's my job to show up as the host and give value and like hit the points. After that, it's not like we're doing a lot of editing. Like if we were doing editing, like if we were Colin and Samir level podcast editing it, where I had to add in B-roll and do these other clips and stuff, of course, then I would watch it. But we're literally just like cutting out bad sounds or videos. And because I've worked with my editor for so long, I trust her implicitly, and I can count on her to do that work. And so we've never had a problem. And at no point have I ever had a guest come on and send me a note that's like, there's this problem. Never. And I'm at like almost at 180 episodes. So that's just what it is for me. I try really hard not to be micromanaging and controlling over the content, because 80% done is better than 100% nothing. I went to art school, and like that was one of my big takeaways that I've got, because it's really easy to obsess and change and edit and do things over and over and over and over and over again. This is a blatant, obviously thing. Like I don't sweat that. That's why for me, really, my podcast is showing up and giving a great interview and like being my best, biggest, thoughtful self, being in the conversation, being attentive, and being there to have that conversation, to ask the questions and get the information that the listeners need. And then after that, it's just edit the sound, put in our commercials, record the introduction, and do all of the little the nuanced things that are detail oriented that my editor does, because we've worked through that list together, and then it's all handled.
Yeah, I love that. You mentioned something. You said browser-based production studio, and I was like, wow, I love living in the future that's a thing. And it really is. So you're recording with StreamYard, so it's you and a guest recording with StreamYard. You're not streaming it at the same time, are you? You're just recording?
No, I just record the pod. They have like when you create a new session, you have 3 options, and it's webinar, recording, or live stream. And I always do the recording for the podcast. I don't think I've ever done a live podcast. I did one for the 100th episode.
Okay.
Over at vidIQ, we did the 100th episode as a live stream, and it was enlightening. You think you were on that one too? You might have been, but yeah.
Maybe.
So
okay,
you just been around for a long time.
So you have an editor that's editing the podcast, and then where does the video go?
So we use Anchor as our hosting for our podcast. I used to use Libsyn, but when Spotify brought in the video component, you had to kind of go through Anchor, because Anchor and Spotify owns Anchor, and they have that partnership together. So we upload the video to Spotify. So that's like where that podcast is. So like our commercials, our intro, everything is a video, so that it can be seamlessly watched through the Spotify experience. And when YouTube launched the podcast feature, which is newer, we started uploading there as well. And we're doing like our back catalog on there as well. We're not doing the best job we could, but we are doing that.
That should be like my tagline. Not doing the best job I could, but I'm here, darn it.
40% done. Better than 100% of nothing.
Okay, so I just brought up Women in Video on Spotify, because I always listen to podcasts with the regular Apple, like YouTube, not Apple YouTube. Apple podcast player is what I'm trying to say. Because I'm an avid podcast listener, and I just never got into Spotify, because I listen to Apple Music, so I never listened to Spotify music or anything. And so when YouTube came out with podcast, I was like, wait, what? Like, how do these worlds collide? And then I realized that Spotify has made these worlds collide quite well. Yeah. And like, once I figured that out, I was like, oh, it's like, it's all together. It's all in one place. Because it used to be that you could have an audio podcast and a video podcast with Apple Podcasts, but they were 2 separate feeds, like years and years ago. And it was so like weird and clunky because why would you then, like, what are you subscribing to, the audio version or the video version? So to have it be combined into both is so, I don't know, it just makes so much sense. And so YouTube now has podcasts, and I hope they change this, but there's a YouTube music app where you can listen / watch the podcasts. But
Yeah.
it's like the music app, not a podcasting app. So I don't know what their plan is with that, but it sounds like they're Spotifying themselves in that way. So you upload directly to Spotify and it's all together. The video and the audio is all together one file.
Yes. And so my podcast is able to, we're RSS feeded into the other platforms. So we're on Apple, Stitcher, Google Podcast, Pandora, iHeartRadio, and Audible. And so the audio from the video gets published to all of the places. So it goes where it's supposed to go.
So you upload it just to the one place, and then it just goes to all of the other feeds. So people like me and the antique people who like to use Apple Podcast.
Okay, first of all, I'm an Android owner. Which is ironic because I have all Apple computers. I have the iMac, I have the Mac, the little Mac mini box. I just got an iPad for when I'm traveling. But because my business is so Google integrated, Android just makes sense to me. So like my house, all my smart devices are Google's. All of my kids, my husband, like they're all on Google. We share. I feel like the shareability and the controls and stuff are much easier. And also as a parent and a person who's like whole business is centrally located on Google, the security for Google is so much better. Like no one's hacked the Google servers. They've hacked the iCloud. So
True.
so for me, that's a big deal.
Okay.
And so I Google so much of my money. Like I pay for Google YouTube Premium. I pay for the G Suite. I pay for the server space for not only my business, but also personally, because ever since having my son, I'm like, I auto upload my photos. I'll auto upload to the Google Cloud for photos. And my children's, like the archive of my children's life, like when they become president someday, they're going to have so much to choose from for making all of the documentaries about them.
I hope you charge a lot for those.
The licensing rights on their life is going to be very lucrative for mommy.
You're going to be like, this is the biggest brand deal I ever had with the U.S.
Really
government.
thinking long-term. Really long-term here. Well, if my son has his way, he will be a professional soccer player. And my daughter will be a YouTuber because that's what her mommy does. So, I mean, there's honestly opportunity here. If I want to, please don't judge me. I'm not truly going to monetize my children like this. I'm not going to become the new Hollywood mom. I'm just totally kidding. But it's just, that's how I Google for me is much better from like file organizational accessibility. Apple just makes a really good computer for doing anything that has to do with imagery, video, audio. So for me, it just makes sense to have it.
Yeah. So, what do you think about so we know YouTube has podcasts now. They don't have an RSS feed yet, meaning what you just described, where you're uploading to Spotify and then it just magically goes out to all of the other podcast catchers. YouTube, you can upload everything to YouTube, but there's no magical way to get it to the other platforms. You would still have to host it somewhere else. But YouTube says that the RSS feed is coming at some point this year. We're halfway through the year now, YouTube, so you better get on this.
I mean, they just launched the podcasting a couple months ago. Like, it was very sleeper because they were like so focused on YouTube Shorts monetization rather than the YouTube podcasting, it just like all of a sudden you're like, when you went to go upload, like, oh, there's a podcast option.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fascinating. Like, where was the hype around that?
Yeah.
Which is really, I think, a real big disservice to YouTube, because when you look at monetization opportunities with short content versus long form content, there's no comparison, because you can add mid-roll ads to podcasts. And like, there are so many more podcasters than there are YouTubers. So many. Because everyone gets all hooked. Like, they get caught up on that super old saying of like, I have a face for radio. And I'm like, whatever. Like, I have a bod for radio too, but here I am showing up every week, twice a week on YouTube and podcast videos. Like, it doesn't matter. But anyway, that's like, the pre-2015s talking. But it's a really missed opportunity, in my opinion, because YouTube Shorts monetizations is not going well. No. At least at the time of this recording, and it's not. It sucks.
Yeah.
And all the YouTubers are really pissed about the really low ad spends right now. I don't know if that's YouTube monetization's fault or if it's like the advertising space's fault. Like, if everyone's like looming recession, debt ceiling crisis, which is happening right now, all that jazz is causing it. But at the same time, when I look at the other side of the world, like my agency, like my business, which is why my YouTube channel exists, like, everyone's spending money. So I don't know. And so I just feel like, and there's not that communication, right? And they just did their big thing in New York or whatever, where they talked to like 1,500 whatever thousand advertisers. YouTube brings them all to the room and talks about money and stuff. But
Right.
we're on a real big tangent from podcasting. Anyway, it was a real missed opportunity to blow up that YouTube podcasting exists.
Yeah.
When it could be a really great advertising opportunity for and business building opportunity for its creators as well.
Yeah. And they had basically sort of hinted last year, I think, that like, oh, we're going to bring podcasts to YouTube, but then we didn't get very many details about that. And then it just kind of happened. But all of the like creators that I follow, they're like jumping on board. Like, yeah, let's have a YouTube podcast. But that's really it. But I just can't figure out, why would you launch podcasts and not have an RSS feed? Like,
because they don't want people to go to other places.
Yeah,
like,
but
YouTube has always been very foundational about that. Like, we really want you to stay here. We have everything you need. Why would you go away? We're at the point now where when we're consuming like YouTube on our TV, which is like one of the growing places that people are using YouTube, we will double screen and watch YouTube Shorts on our phones. So like, we're in this YouTube bubble in a very smart way. So an RSS feed, they're literally, I think, doing because the podcasters have demanded it. It's one of those things, I really think it's like, they establish, like, they're the ones that are like, this is what long form video is. And then when the TikTok competition with Shorts came in, they're like, well, we can't exactly we can't copy TikTok, but we can take what they've done well and make it better by like only 59 seconds. And the monetization piece in place, because they saw what everyone was complaining about with YouTube, with TikTok Shorts about advertising. It's like, so we can do this better. And they're just trying to figure that out still. But with podcasting, it's a very long, like, podcasting is older than YouTube, right? So it has to appease an audience and give them that. And if they're listening to the audience is like, I cannot make YouTube work if I do not have an RSS feed.
right.
So if you want me to add in this aspect, you have to provide me something. And it's going to be really interesting to find out if it's going to be YouTube hosts the podcast and distributes it everywhere, or if it's going to be like how I have with Anchor, and I can add it and then it can auto publish to YouTube, which never goes well. Like trying to publish or schedule to YouTube outside of YouTube is never recommended.
Right.
Not a single person is like, yeah, let's go use this other tool for that. No.
Right.
Like, you might use other tools to dictate the data or put things up, like using like vidIQ for like titles and data, like what makes it better, and the keywords and descriptions and stuff, but never like you still have to go upload it through YouTube Studio.
Mm-hmm.
So my guess is it's going to be the first one I said, where YouTube will host it, and
Yeah.
then they will distribute it to where it needs to go, which then runs into the issue is like, will YouTube and Spotify work together? Which I don't think it'll be very weird. Like my instincts say they are not going to,
Mm-hmm.
because Spotify has a lot of Spotify exclusive creators.
Yeah.
Like, and like they poached Emma Chamberlain,
Mm-hmm.
right? For her podcast, and there's a Seth Rogen one there. And I think the Call Her Daddy one is over there. Like they're making these multi-million-dollar podcast deals. So I don't know how that would work. So you still are looking at, you'll have to upload to 2 places.
Interesting. I
Minimum.
hope that's not the case. I also wonder if they delayed RSS because they want to figure out a way to like charge people for it. Like if you want your podcast hosted here, that's great. You can do that for free. But if you want to distribute it out, you have to pay, which would be interesting.
It would be. That would be really interesting. I don't know. Like the only thing that you have to pay for on YouTube currently is YouTube Premium and YouTube TV.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's a good question.
I don't know. Well, I guess we'll find out.
That's a
Hopefully
good one. I didn't think about that. So
Hopefully soon. I mean, it does. I mean, YouTube has been hosting videos for a long, long, long time. And like eventually the whole earth is going to be gobbled up by video gigabytes hosted for free by YouTube. But I could see them being like, here's a way that we can charge for that. Right. So we'll see. So what do you think about using the videos that you create for a podcast? How are you using that video in other ways? Are you creating shorts? Are you on other platforms and like doing like snippets and things like that?
yes. So there's a couple of different ways that you used your video content to grow your podcast. So it was always recommended that like if you had a podcast, it had its own YouTube channel. So like Women in Video, for example, has its own YouTube channel. Because you can put the long form content up there, because you did not want the two conflicting, even if like it was an extension. Like I've had this conversation, I'm like, should I put the Women in Video podcast on my YouTube channel? I talk about video for business and stuff. Like, could it be an extension of that? And it's like, no, I don't want them to hurt each other. Like I'm already in a rebuild of my channel. I don't need to rebuild it even more. So like there's that sort of situation. So what's been done, I know in the past, is like a highlight or clips YouTube channel. So an example of this is there's this really great podcast called Trash Taste Talk. So I think it's Trash Taste, and it's 3 different three different English speaking expats in Japan. And they talk about Japanese culture, like from their perspective and all the things. And their YouTube channel has like over 1 million subscribers. But they created this clips channel, which were like these isolated ones that they could optimize with like appropriate titling and then thumbnail them based on things they're talking about. So they have like this hour-long podcast. In an hour-long podcast, they talk about, let's say, like ramen, Dragon Ball Z, and the subway, right? The metro. Like they could break those up into those 3 segments for their clips channel to drive traffic back to like their bigger thing. And it maximizes like their advertising opportunities, because they can get more AdSense. They can charge more for advertisers, be like, hey, we can put an ad on this clip, or we can put this ad in our podcast, right? So they can have that. And you also could do clips of your shorts came out. You could do shorts of your podcast. And so I know a lot of people were doing that on TikTok. So Amy Landino and Vincenzo Landino did this like one-time 10 episode podcast where they talked about like being married and running a business together. And because they were like, they've been in the internet space for so long separately, and then like as a couple, and then they were married, and like how that looked like for them and how they merged together. And so they answered a lot of questions and over it. And they did a lot of clipping they would record it in studio. So they had the 3 cameras set up, one on him, one on her, one on them together. And they would do the vertical videos for TikTok and stuff. And that like really helped with like attention and attraction. And then they could share them on their socials and all of that stuff, right? So it was just one of those things that like you can utilize this is like you have to look at video podcasting the same way you look at like long form video, where it's like, okay, I make this long form video that accomplishes a specific objective. How can I then do more with it by turning into other pieces of content? Whether it's making searchable, browsable clips, whether it's turning these into shorts, putting them on other platforms as those clips, like you can put them on Facebook or LinkedIn for less than 10 minutes, all that.
I love it. There's so many things you can do when you have video, not just the audio. I was scrolling through Instagram stories yesterday, and I came across somebody who has a podcast, but it's not a video podcast. And it was like, it felt so like old school to see the podcast image with a little waveform animation and hear the clip of the audio, because that's how people share clips of their audio when they don't have video. But it just felt so like old school, because I'm used to scrolling TikTok and stuff and seeing a short video that's a video of a podcast clip, but it's the video clip. So it's interesting how that will progress over time. And then the things that we thought, the things that were like normal ways of promoting and spreading awareness of your podcast are going to become like the antiquated ways. Do you go ahead?
I think when you're talking about promoting a podcast, it's very, I feel like now with where we exist, I feel like having okay, let me rephrase this. This is very kind of podcast that you have specific. So if I was to launch a podcast today, right now in 2023, I would only do it if what I was talking about was entertainment and sensational. And because those are the things that everyone can listen to and that don't have reach. Like we know this as YouTubers. Everything that like Mr. Beast, Emma Chamberlain, Casey Neistat, all of the vloggy bigger creators are doing has absolutely no bearing on what we do as business owners who are also creators. Mm-hmm. So you can't like that methodology and how they do that, like there's no blending there. So if I was to start a podcast though, and for anything else, like even something in lifestyle, I think I would still do something where I am using either long form podcasting or TikTok to build an audience. Mm-hmm. I'd build an audience first around my topic and get people interested in consuming me on shorter form content, building relationships with me based on like my nuances, my quirks, my whatevers. And then I would be like, okay, it's time to have long conversations together. And then I would build that podcast as an extension of what I'm already doing on there. So let's use like if I was a lifestyle creator. Let's say that I'm a lifestyle creator who talks about plus size living in Michigan. I would start off with probably doing long form videos and it would be like day in the lives, like what I'm wearing. I would do short form content that's like come with me's, my outfit of the days, how I'm doing all this stuff, what the weather looks like. I would just really build that out. And then once I had hit some specific milestones I'd set for myself, but like once I reach these points, now I can introduce a podcast. So then what my podcast would be like talking about Michigan lifestyle related things. So I talk about like different seasonal things, going to events, things that you can do, how I prepare, how I get over things. I talk about, if I want to extend it off of like plus size Michigan living, I would talk about things like how I deal with chub rub or how I stay cold or any of those things that would be, so I could have longer, less edited, less rushed conversations that are related to that. I feel like now podcasts exist to have an extended conversation versus what we build in long form content and short form content is very much about like authority and lead establishing and micro doses of me that just add up to do lots of things.
Interesting. Okay. So what do you integrate any AI or anything into your video podcast workflow?
Not right now. I think I've toyed with the idea of turning our show notes into like scripts, and then so using the AI tool I really like is Project Blink. It's with Adobe. They launched it at Max, which is their big thing that they do in October. And it's where you watch your videos, and what they'll do is they transcribe it for you, and then what you can do is edit a video by searching your transcript. So again, taking a long form podcast, we could search like you could take this, upload it to Blink, and be like, where is it that Desiree talked about the plus size Michigan thing? And you could type that into the search, and it would find that every time I said that in this search, and then you could have it and you could clip it or remove it or do other things with it. So I've toyed with doing that like from a transcription standpoint, but I don't want to transcribe my podcast. That would be forever. So I like my time codes. I think it's easier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I could see using like ChatGPT to make more interesting titles,
Mm-hmm.
but right now there's not a need for me to use any AI. I use AI though in other parts of my business, but not with my podcast.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a whole separate episode.
Totally.
Several
100%.
episodes. And okay, so what was that tool called? Project 82?
Project Blink.
Project Blink. I was thinking Blink 182.
I was just going to say, all things. So funny.
Project Blink. Okay, so it's in. All right, so that sounds very similar to what you can do with Descript, where it just automatically transcribes. You can search for things and kind of clip things out, based on the AI generated transcript. Mm-hmm. Is it really AI generated? I don't know. It's your words. So,
just make sure you're always talking clearly, and I'll always be able to transcribe it for you.
Right, exactly. And we're recording this with Riverside, which will do the same thing. It's going to, so this is all in the browser, and it's obviously recording us, the video, the audio, and then it's going to transcribe it, and then you can edit it within the browser. Mm-hmm. And then I think we'll find out once this is done, but I think I can go in and search for specific words and things like that. But
I mean, if we're gonna play the toolbox like pissing game, I totally have mine, which is Kapwing. So Kapwing does podcast editing, video editing, and short form video conversion. So it's like Descript and Riverside and even like your DaVinci Resolves or whatever in one place.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also browser based, which I'm a big fan of, as we know. The only thing that Kapwing doesn't do, and I think it's just because they're focusing more on tool than integration, is scheduling. Like I can't take my vertical video I create or a graphic I make and schedule it to the social platforms I want. I have to like download it and put it somewhere so that I can go use a third-party tool to put that in place.
Gotcha. Okay. Something I was just going to say. Oh, yeah. Have you heard of Cast Magic?
I have not.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Cast Magic, and I'll put a link. Do you say in the show notes if it's a YouTube podcast, or do you say in the description?
The show notes are wherever it lives, right?
You'll find it. I'll put a link to it. So Cast Magic, you can do this with a YouTube video and or a podcast episode. So you can take a YouTube link or upload a podcast episode, and it will generate, first of all, it will transcribe it. And if you have two speakers, it'll transcribe, each speaker. It'll generate titles. It'll generate snippets. It'll do a whole, timestamps. It'll give you like, these are the keywords. These are the things you talked about the most. It'll do LinkedIn posts. And then it has like a Chat GPT kind of component where you can ask it to do whatever.
Nice.
It's so cool. I'm going to do it with this. So like with this podcast, obviously I know my guest. I know your name. I know where like your links and whatnot. But as for like the title, I just knew I wanted to have Desiree on to talk about video podcasting. So I'm not going to come up with a fancy title. I'm just going to take this recording once I edit it, the beginning, the end, whatever, put it on Cast Magic and let it do all the work for me. And we'll see how it
I'm,
goes.
I'm, 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 I'm excited about this. I'm checking it out myself. So
Well, make sure you use vidpromom.com/castmagic if you decide to sign up for it.
well,
And like I personally, I like one of the biggest barriers for me of creating podcast content. I have a lot of barriers, but one of them is like I just want to show up and talk to you. Like I can come up with like, well, these are the things that are on my mind, these are the questions, but like I would rather let the conversation just kind of go with the flow, and I don't want to be like, here's the title, here's the description, here are the keywords if there are keywords, and then have to like do all that stuff ahead of time or even
never
afterwards.
done anything like that before for my podcast. Literally ever. I'm like, let's have a conversation. I'm here for the person.
But then afterwards you have to like have a description and all that stuff, right?
That part is there.
Yeah, so I'm loving the fact that I can just use AI for that. But then I always tweak it anyway, and it's like it takes me the same amount of time if I just wrote
gives
it.
you a good groundwork, though. I
Yes,
think.
yeah.
So that's, I think, what's important is groundwork is like, and that's how you're supposed to be using Chat GPT. It's groundwork. It's
Yeah.
not copy paste. This is the end all be all. Like that makes no sense.
Yeah, exactly. So I mentioned some of the other barriers that I have had to podcasting, which is why I'm excited about YouTube podcasting, is that it's so one-sided. There's no comments. Like on YouTube, you upload a video, you get comments, you get likes, people find it, they subscribe. Like you can see that and you can comment back to people. And every time that I've done, like had a podcast, which I think I've had like 2, 3. I don't. It depends if you count like rebranding podcasts. But every time I'm just like, this is a lot of work for what I feel like is not much in return because I don't get comments. There's no connection. I might get like a random person that shoots me an Instagram DM that's like, oh, I love this podcast, blah blah blah, and I'm like, great, thanks. Like, but where's the rest of the like community and audience building? Rather, it's like just a radio channel. So how have you built a community and more of like a give and take rather than just broadcasting for the Women of Video podcast?
Okay, so this is a very complex, mildly hurtful question. So, because you know where I am with this. Okay, so one of the biggest things that I did, very foundation, again, we're talking 2019 days. I had a Facebook group, and the Facebook group crushed it. Like the Facebook group was like, it still has over 1,100 people in it, but I can't get people to comment now to save their lives. And I really just think it's because that we culturally, thanks TikTok, are like just getting away from Facebook. I go on Facebook all the time. Like Facebook's like my app. I like my thumb just like auto goes to like when like you go somewhere like you just like auto drive home. Like that's what it is for me because that's where I can see like my friends. Like it's friends from high school, college, family. There's definitely business people, but I get to it's like the personal, more personable side of it. It's where I share like the pictures of my kids and like interact with my family there. Like it's not just business for me there. I do have some groups I'm a part of, but I still will miss stuff. It will still not be great. And so it's really fine. And so what I wanted to do was build a video mastermind. I like partnered up with Uscreen for this. I like put up a bunch of content up there. We did the Women of Video virtual event where we had like 35 speakers and they all came and they did all this stuff. It was fantastic. But it didn't convert to any community. I had like 4 people that paid to join, and I pushed and I pushed and I pushed and I emailed and I sent and I added value and I did those. There was nothing. I actually and so I was like, it was literally depressing me. Mm-hmm. Like I was not well. I'm still kind of recovering from it. because I had to change, like there were so many things around it. And I don't know if it was like the state of the world. I don't know if it was because it was women. I don't know if it's because it's like people didn't want to invest in women when even though they said they wanted to support, or if women are just like in their head unable to like do stuff for themselves. I don't know what it is. And I've had a little bit of validation that's been unfortunate in partnership with this, where other female organizations that are like around stuff like She Podcasts and stuff have had to cancel their in-person events and go virtual because of similar reasons. But I don't know if it's because and I don't know if it's because I gave it for free for so long. I don't know. And that's what makes me so crazy. If I knew, if I could ask questions, I would answer questions. So the podcast that I did that came out this week on May 25th, May 24th, the title of the video is Not Every Revenue Stream is For You. And I talked about how, we live in this phenomenal creator economy where there's so many different ways for you to make money. Everyone has something. There's always some new thing coming out to talk about, some way for people to help do things. And a lot of it is from a post-COVID world. And you and I are pre-COVID. So like it was very interesting to watch. It's been very interesting to watch it all happen. But there are just some things that don't work for everybody. And all I concluded was that a membership was not right for my community. And I think that even for the people that got to join for free, even they weren't coming to it, no matter how much value I tried to give. And so I'm on the hunt right now to figure out where to bring this community together. I'm going to be playing around with two. I'm going to check out Discord and I'm going to check out Circle. So Circle is kind of like if you have a course or something that like someone pays to join. So the three that I know of, and two of which I'm a part of, is Creator Wizard. Right, Creator Wizard uses Circle, and it's Justin, and he teaches everyone how to get brand partnerships. I just signed up for Jessica Stansberry's one that's like the YouTube Sales Accelerator. I signed up for hers and she's using Circle. And the other one is my friend Karen Carr. She's actually a realtor. And what she does is she teaches other realtors how to use YouTube to get leads and position themselves as experts and industry leaders. And she literally deleted Facebook. She hated it so much and like the distractingness of it and all of the things. And moved her private group, her paid like community of people that join to Circle as well. And I know with Discord, and so what's so funny, so the reason I talk about it is because when I did the podcast, and I said in the podcast at the end, because I made the announcement with it, that was like, I'm training on the mastermind. And I said, ladies, where do you want to hang out? Like, you obviously don't like Facebook. Or if you do, go flip and find the group and like post in there and revitalize it. We can do this together. But like, where do you want to spend time together? Where can we come together as a group to match up around specific niches or needs? One of the coolest things that happened out of the Creator Wizard group, I paid for the program. It was a 1-month course. There was live streams. You got backlinks. There was resources. There's a pretty decent, like, ask the community. But the best thing that came out of that was this accountability group that I'm a part of. It's us. It's me. And, like, there's technically 6 of us, but 2 of them are in and out intermittently. And we just support each other. And it's not just about brand deals. Like, we talk about anything that has to do with the creator economy. Everything has to do with our businesses and our brands. And it's been amazing because we can all bring something different to the table because we're all wildly different creators. So we've been able to make a sub-community from an existing community that we're all still kind of an active part of. So I'm like, where do you guys want to hang out? And so I got this really great message from one of my listeners, and she gave me this whole long talk about it. She's like, I wanted this, but then this happened, and like it wasn't available. I'm like, this is exactly the feedback I needed about the crickets of the Facebook channel and the crickets of the mastermind. It's like, I can't make people do this. I can't make people interact, no matter how many questions I ask or what I post. And so I'm like, where do you want to go? Hundreds of you listen to this podcast every week. Where do you want to hang out? And it's accent. So I've got to figure it out. And that's what I'm exploring. And I know like Discord is like where a lot of people are shifting right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like my concern around Discord is it's kind of techie.
Mm-hmm.
Not techie from like a host standpoint. Like I know I have to do things to set up my own server and all that kind of stuff. But it's like it's another app that someone has to download. It's another place people have to figure out. And I think that like if there's a demographic that kind of weeds out generally.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if women want to do that. So that's me. So your question around where can you build a community is going to be if you know share share the love and the knowledge, because my least favorite word of 2023 is community, because it's so you have to build a community. You have to build a community every turn. I'm just like, shut up, because it's not just that.
It's not that simple. Yeah.
It's not that simple.
Yeah. This has been a struggle for me as well for a long time, really, because I'm like you where I default to Facebook. Like my thumb just goes to Facebook, see what friends and family are up to. But then it's like, really, it only takes a few moments to like get past friends and family updates, and then it's mostly just like BS, like memes and stuff that are like, yeah, they're entertaining, but they're kind of time wasting, and then I go to TikTok to waste my time. But it's so like Facebook used to be a centralized place, and now it's not. And I think you're right in Discord being, I think there is some kind of a generational sort of barrier. Like my kids could open up Discord and they know exactly how to use it, what this is, what like they know how to navigate. And I open it and I'm like, okay, I guess I can figure this out. I'll just click around because I'm an elder millennial. I'm not afraid to click on things and figure it out. But I think like beyond that, for people who aren't inherently like tech savvy, it's like almost like too basic that it's overwhelming, if that makes sense.
I don't, and I have no doubt, like, and I get that. And I don't think that age is a dictation of tech savviness. I remember, you'll respect this because you are too a former military spouse. My neighbor, when we lived in Dyess Air Force Base, she was like 22 when I met her, and I was 29. And the amount of times I had to help that child with very common sense things, like how much medicine do I give my kids? How do I cook chicken all the way so that it doesn't give me salmonella and go to the hospital, because that's what happened to her. You know, a lot of like how to life questions. I'm like, have you met Google? I'm like, you have a computer in your, like literally like sewn to your hand some days. Like, so it's like sometimes like when you grow up with tech, you forget, oh, I can use it in these great ways. Right. It's kind of assuming that like anyone under 40 can code stuff. Like,
right.
or build a website. Like I can't do either of those things, and I'm very tech savvy. But it's just one of those things. Like it's just my concern around Discord isn't my inability to use it. It's, will my audience go?
Will they go there? Yeah.
Will they go there? And the thing about Uscreen that we didn't have is there wasn't an app. So like maybe that was it. I don't know.
I'm surprised there's no Uscreen app.
There is. There's a so how Uscreen works. Usually Uscreen is the host. It's like a web provider. It's like the host for where it all happens. And then you build your mastermind and you have your own custom link and everything like that. They can build you an app, but it's like a process. And then I still have to get people to download the app.
Yeah.
If I can't get people to sign up for what we have with like, we're giving these like super powerful, in-depth, amazing sessions and office hours, people don't want to show up. Like, I'm literally offering up to you, I charge $200 to do private coaching. And I know I could charge more, but that's what I want to charge. And it's for like, I will do channel reviews. We'll audit your business. We'll put things together. You have a plan. I'm literally offering this up for free, and like people didn't show up. I'm like,
Yeah.
I have a lot of bitterness around this, obviously. But it's mostly like I know that women want it. I talk to them all the time. But it's very much like, but where do you want the home of this? Where do you
Yeah.
want the new home to be?
Yeah.
And the answer might honestly be they might not want to. It might just be we just want the podcast. And that's all we need. And if that is the case, I just want to know.
Right. Yeah, I kind of feel like it's almost like we just want you to be everywhere. Why can't you just be everywhere? And then wherever I feel like interacting with you is where I'll interact with you.
I wish I could. Well, I mean, that comes into the whole, like, that comes into our coaching, like you and I with video marketing and with this podcast topic, right? Take your podcast, put it everywhere. That way people consume it wherever they want to be, right? Wherever they're choosing to, like you said, you listen to Apple Podcasts. I'm like, I'm on Spotify listening to podcasts. You know, everyone has their preferred location for where they do things and where they spend their time. When you're talking about a place to communicate and commune and conversate and have two-way situations, you can't do that because there's not Instagram groups. There's LinkedIn groups, but how many people have never? I've had LinkedIn for like over a decade. I've never gone in
Yeah.
to a LinkedIn group and been like, let's engage here. Like I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
You know, YouTube does not have a group feature. Like but they have the membership, which is
Yeah.
dumb. You should be able to commune there.
I agree.
We could do Patreon, right? Like that might be the place where it's at. Like, but I don't know.
I have for a long time been waiting for YouTube to come out with a Facebook group killer.
Right?
And like you said, they have memberships, but like you can't create a free membership. You have to charge at least 99 cents, which I mean is hardly anything, but still like it's not the same as like come join my free Facebook group. And I just think that would just be the ultimate.
Well, you used to be able to chat with people on YouTube. Right? I think that 99 cents is a totally reasonable barrier to entry because then, you know, if someone can give me $1 to have access to me, $12 a year, that's not even like a full meal at a restaurant.
Right.
Okay? Like inflation's ridiculous. And I don't even see all of that. Like I have to do, isn't it like a 70-30 split with YouTube?
Right.
So I don't even see all of that. I'm going to
Yeah.
see like $8.50 of that. So it's like, if you can give me $1, I don't want you in my membership. But but they still should have a place where you can commune. Even if it's just like a forum style board. Like if they took the community tab, cloned it, and made it membership,
Yeah.
that would be totally acceptable because that's what a Facebook group is.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I would love that. And I mean, and I would even pay for it as the creator. I would pay for a group style thing on like
Because then you get the notifications and there it show up in your home feed. Like literally, why YouTube have you not cloned the community tab and just made it paid membership? Like that is like you could have some intern at Google do that kind of easy integration. Like this is a very missed opportunity. I'm sure I'm overcomplicating, but I'm not because all of the code is in place.
Yeah, I agree.
Superior.
I agree because look at us trying to be like, should I do Circle? Should I do Discord? Should I do this? Should I do that?
I wouldn't even have to think about it. I wouldn't even think twice. It'd be like, done. I know where I'm going. Going to the YouTube paid membership. Women in Video will exclusively be on YouTube, and this is where we're going to spend our time. It costs you $1 a month.
Right.
$1.
Yeah.
That's it.
So okay, where do we go from here? Do you think that anyone starting a podcast today should start a video podcast, like hands down, no questions asked?
Yeah. Like if you're going to do all of this work, if you have a good mic, I know you have a webcam. Everyone has a webcam. Everyone has a webcam. Okay? So it's like if you have a podcast, like the prerequisite to have a podcast mic would be to have a webcam. Just turn on the video. You don't have to do anything with it, but get into the habit of recording your video content so that you can then do more with it. Because this is going to give you more opportunity. Even if it's just a solo situation. I've done plenty of solo episodes on my podcast where I'm just talking to my camera. It's just a really great way to get in the practice of creating video content. Like, I feel like if you're in this podcast, like you're already creating or like on the path for it,
Mm-hmm.
it shouldn't be more work for you at this point. So just do it. Stop. It's so easy. Podcast video is so easy. Don't let yourself overcomplicate it, Meredith.
Yeah, Meredith.
Yeah,
All right.
I know
Thank
you
you.
do.
Thank you, Desiree, for coming on and chatting with me about video podcasts. From here, where can people go and find you and connect with you? We won't say the word community because we already know that you don't like that word. But where can
Don't
people
have
connect with
one.
you?
Hump. I don't have a podcast. Our community. I'm gonna give you two. I usually give you one. Like one, if you want to follow me on the YouTubes, you can find me youtube.com at Mrs. Desiree Rose. I talk about video and social media marketing with the intent, very clear intentions around using these platforms to establish yourself as an expert, capture leads that you can then convert into sales. And then I have the Women in Video podcast, which focuses on telling the stories of women of YouTube, women video creators, and how they got where they are and the businesses and brands that they are building. So you can find that womeninvideo.com.
All right. Thanks so much, Desiree.
Peace. Bye.